How to lose weight fast without Ozempic, exercise, or dieting, the spirituality of getting skinny. So if you are like a lot of people, I live in the United States, this is the time of year where people start thinking about getting their beach bodies ready, wanting to lose weight. And there are a lot of people who've really struggled to lose weight, people who either feel like because their appetite is too big, they just can't work it off, or they've tried losing weight in the past but always comes right back, or they've gotten to a weight loss plateau that they just can't break through and they're not really sure why, or they just feel like they have stubborn weight. If any of that resonates with you, this video is for you. And the way that it's going to be structured is I'm going to talk about some of the reasons that are causing you to hold on to weight that you may not have been thinking about. And then at the end of the video, I'm also going to list 9 things you can do to shrink your appetite quickly, so it's easy for you to get into a state where your body is burning off the reserved, stored, fat that it holds on to for a rainy day to keep you safe. And if you're not sure who I am, hello, I am the Glow Up Guru. I am a triple certified master life coach. I'm also a licensed attorney. This May will be 11 years since I finished law school, and this summer will be 11 years since I sat for the bar exam. So I've been, at this professional thing for a minute. I'm someone who is an intellectual, deeply rooted in the natural world, but I'm also a very spiritual person, very much deeply rooted in the spiritual world. And I love talking about how those two things interact with each other and influence each other. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. And if you're watching this on a different platform, then just make sure you're following so you get more updates. I am doing a series on how to lose weight fast. And what inspired it is, I started my own get ready for summer weight loss journey. And in the process, for the first time, started to notice a lot of influencers online and realized that a lot of the advice is good, but it's incomplete. And so I thought I would bring my knowledge of the spiritual things that cause you to lose weight faster, but also my knowledge from having worked for a nutritional supplement manufacturer for years before I went to law school. And when I was there, I did a lot of work with the research and development department and the scientists there. So I learned a lot about different things that you can do that will accelerate the rate of fat loss. A lot of times when people lose weight, they're mostly losing water. Sometimes they're losing muscle. What you really want to do is lose as much fat per pound as possible. And so I'll be talking about what you can do to accelerate fat loss rather than just weight loss, because at the end of the day, it actually doesn't matter. You could not lose a pound at all on the scale, but if you lose all fat and gain muscle, you're going to look smaller and toner and feel better. So I'm talking about fat loss over here. And then I also want to get into what you can do to shrink your appetite, because there are physical things and spiritual things that make your appetite larger. So if all that is interesting to you, watch till the very end. And then I'll give you some offers that can, help you take it to the next level if you want to go deeper than this video. So let's just start from the top. And I am going to be looking at my notes because I don't want to forget anything. So there are natural laws that govern your experience on this earth, like the law of gravity. There's time. And then there are laws that are both natural and spiritual. And one of those is the law of cause and effect. And the simple breakdown for that law is every single thing that you see, every single effect has a cause. There are known causes and there are unknown causes, but there's no thing with no cause. For example, cancer has a cause. Being overweight has a cause. Being fit has a cause. And again, there are known causes and unknown causes. So sometimes when you're struggling with weight loss, it's because the things that are causing you to hold on to fat are currently unknown to you. So it doesn't mean that you can't lose weight. It just means that you need to learn what the cause is of your weight gain, and then also learn how to cause weight loss, all right? So spiritually, fat can be a physical manifestation of a need for protection. So really common examples is if you experience some form of sexual trauma when you were younger, having excess body weight can be your kind of physical manifestation of the spiritual realm saying, we need to protect you. We need to make sure that your body is safe. Now, being overweight, will that protect you from getting molested again? No, it won't. But it will make you feel safer on a subconscious level. If you've experienced any type of major loss in your life involuntarily. Holding on to weight can make you feel like, okay, at least I can hold on to this. At least I can have this again. Major losses make you want to hold on to things. So if you're someone who struggles with clutter or being a hoarder, a root cause is often a traumatic loss that you haven't healed from. And if you deal with the pain from that loss, either by going through therapy or doing your own healing journey, it will then help you with letting go of all the clutter in your life and the hoarding. So if you want to lose weight, you need to learn the causes. And let's talk about your food. Everything is energy, okay? And so when you were eating, you were either eating things that are raising your energy level, raising your vibration, adding more life to your body, or you're eating things that are accelerating the rate of death and decay in your body, lowering your vibration. Generally speaking, if foods are processed, they are going to be lower vibration, accelerating the rate of death and decay in your body. And if things are whole, unprocessed, not sprayed with pesticides, they're going to be higher vibration and adding life to your body. So if you think about how you feel when you eat certain things, if you notice that there's certain things that you eat them and you are just on cloud nine, you could feel like you could run or jump, or you just feel energized and alive. And then there's certain things that you eat them and you just want to go to sleep. That is what I'm talking about. The things that accelerate the rate of death and decay are the things that make you want to go to sleep after you eat them. The things that accelerate the rate of life are the things that you should be eating more. And one really good way to tell whether or not something is good for you, because there's no such thing as universally healthy foods. There are just foods that are good for your body and things that are not good for your body. One way to tell is to just check your heart rate before and after a meal. If you eat something and notice that your heart rate is elevated 90 minutes after a meal, that is a sign that there are poisons or toxins in that thing, and your body is in a state of distress, trying to break them down and process them. And even things like spinach and kale can do this to you, depending on your body. If you want to know for sure what you should or shouldn't be eating, the best way to find out is to get your gut microbiome tested. There's actually a link on my shop for Viome gut microbiome testing. I am an affiliate. And when you use Viome, what they do is they will give you a printout of the foods that you should be eating and the foods that you should not be eating based on your gut microbiome. The things that you should not be eating are the things that are going to be, like I said, accelerating the rate of death and decay. And as a general rule, anything processed is not great, but even certain natural foods you can be allergic to. Some people, for example, have a really hard time with anything in the nightshade family, and they shouldn't be eating those. So it's not just about, is it healthy, is it not healthy? It's about, does it agree with your body? There are plenty of health foods that are not good for your body, but they're great for someone else's body, which is also why, when people talk about meal plans and diets and eat this, not that, it ignores the fact that everyone's body is unique. And so just because your friend lost 35 pounds with kale smoothies doesn't mean you will, because your body's different. Your body may reject kale and actually hold on to fat more because the way that it breaks down releases oxalates that, accelerates the rate of death and decay. So high level, you want to think about putting things in your body that increase the life force circulation, things that make you feel more alive, things that make you feel like you can, conquer any challenge that's thrown at you, and you want to back away from the things that make you want to take a nap immediately after eating them. So back to the spirituality. So things that raise your vibration help with weight loss. So things like, movement. I said, this video is about how to lose weight without diet or exercise or Ozempic. And I'm not talking about dieting. I'm not talking about HIIT workouts, but doing things like stretching in the morning, going for a walk after meals, getting your steps in. Those are things that help increase the circulation and the life force in the body. You want to think about your body like a body of water, right? So when there's a body of water that's not circulating, what happens? It gets stagnant. Everything in it dies, right? It starts to smell bad. But when there's circulation, where there's new waters, like a babbling brook. What's happening? It's alive. Things can grow. There's fish beneath the surface. There's life in the water when there's movement. So you want to move your body, allow for there to be circulation. Even things like getting massages, getting acupuncture. I love my acupuncturist. If you live in Dallas, like I do, Totality Holistics is where I go. Amazing. Dr. Martinez and her husband are awesome, and their daughter, who's like the mascot. So if you want acupuncture, that is where I'd say to go if you're in the Dallas area. But literally anywhere, acupuncture, massages, doing yoga, stretching, anything that circulates life in the body is going to raise your vibration. That will help with losing weight. When you are lower vibration, denser, that's what makes you want to store the weight. So tell your body that it's okay to let go of the excess storage. Another example of what I'm talking about when it comes to lower vibration density, when you're holding on to spiritual weight, it makes it very difficult to lose physical weight. So even if you lose a couple pounds, you will gain them back, because what happens in the spiritual world impacts what happens in the natural world. There's someone I used to babysit for when I was younger. And when I first started talking about spirituality and weight loss, a little over a year ago online, they had reached out to me and we reconnected. We don't even live in the same state anymore. But she said that she has struggled with her weight since college. And I was like, well, again, I'm talking about spirituality here. What happens in the spiritual world affects in the natural world. I was like, well, okay, if the weight issues started in college, that tells me that there was a traumatic event that happened in college that you haven't healed from. And things like unprocessed shame, guilt, let me see, I wrote down some examples. Unprocessed shame, sexual trauma, repressed no's, so times that you wanted to say no but you didn't, or that you said no and it wasn't honored, shame about your identity, all of these things can lead to spiritual weight that causes physical weight. So in her case, it was shame. I said, what happened in college? And for context, I am a Christian. She is too. She's actually a minister now. And so a lot of the Christian beliefs are very important to her. And when she was in college, she had an abortion. And in our belief system, abortion is murder. And, again, as Christians, we believe that Jesus Christ paid the price for our sins and that there is forgiveness. So there's no need to walk around in guilt or shame because of a choice that you made when you were younger. Like, there's forgiveness. Like, that is the whole point of being saved. In the Bible, it talks about being saved by grace, not by us being perfect. So she said, oh, she had an abortion. I was like, okay, well, have you forgiven yourself? And the answer was no, she hadn't. And so that was why she hadn't been able to manage her weight. It wasn't about, macros and South Beach diet. It was about forgiving herself for something that happened when she was younger, a choice that she made out of fear, which, maybe it was the right choice, maybe it was the wrong choice. That's not the point. The point is that she was judging herself and beating herself up and feeling like she was living with this deep, dark secret and whatever. And that is not, like, the whole point of the gospel is so that you can live free and without shame, without guilt, regardless of what you've done, because it was paid for on the cross when Jesus died. So if you're a Christian and you had an abortion, there's literally no need to walk around in shame. There's also no right to beat other people up for having abortions, but more on that later if you want to know. There's no shame. There's no need to walk around in shame. All you need to do is repent for the sin, but also forgive yourself, okay? And I think that is also why a lot of people walk around so judgmental, so critical, so quick to shame other people for the choices that they make when they feel like it was the best case scenario for their life, because they haven't forgiven themselves for the choices that they have made. And the reality is we've all made mistakes, every single one of us. There's a story in the Bible where it talks about a woman who was caught in the act of adultery, was brought before Jesus. And, what I think is so interesting about that story is, like, it says the woman was caught in the act of adultery, which means somebody else was there with her, likely a man. And there's no story about the man, right? It's like, oh, we don't care about him. So they bring the woman. The penalty for adultery was being stoned to death. So they bring her to Jesus, who was a guy who at the time was walking around saying he was the Son of God. Maybe he was, maybe he wasn't, but it's what he said. And so the religious leaders brought this woman to him. And they're like, hey, you say you're the Son of God. What do you think should happen to her? She was caught in the act. And his response was, let him without sin cast the first stone. And it says that they all went away, but it was the oldest ones who turned away first. What's the moral of the story? Those stones are like spiritual weight that I'm talking about, right? And the Bible says that when someone was brought before Jesus, people wanted to judge her. And Jesus was like, yeah, sure, you can judge her if you're perfect. Go ahead. Go ahead. And it says that they all turned away. And he said to her, just go and sin no more. Like, just, you're forgiven. Just don't sin anymore, right? So it's that simple, right? If you are a Christian or if you're not a Christian, doesn't matter. If you've done horrible things in the past and you're walking away with the guilt and shame, that is totally unnecessary. You don't have to do all that. If you believe in Jesus like I do, you can pray for forgiveness. If you don't, you can do other things to make penance, like whatever source you recognize, whether it's God, the universe, nature, whatever, you can just decide that you are sorry, that you're not going to do it again, and that this is the start of a new chapter. And that decision will help you lose spiritual weight, which will change the number on the scale. Because until you make that decision, you will eat to repress the feelings that are uncomfortable, if you're like most people. Or you'll drink to repress the feelings, or you'll bury yourself in work to repress the feelings. There'll be something that you do to try and numb yourself, to escape what's happening in your body, so that you do not continue to feel that guilt, that shame that just pulls at you and just makes you feel so horrible. So I hope that helps clarify what is going on when I talk about spiritual weight. Let it go. There's no need to hold on. The only things so there's, higher energy sources, lower energy sources. For me, the higher energy is God, lower is the devil. The things that make you feel shame and guilt and whatever, those do not come from the higher vibrational sources. That's all low vibration. So you should never hold on to shame, never hold on to guilt, never hold on to anger. Be sorry, do whatever you need to do to change and make sure it doesn't happen again. Turn your back on it and then move forward. And just know that mistakes are part of being human, right? You're not God, you're human. We all make mistakes. Learn from them, but don't live in the past. Let it go. Because if you don't let it go, you are very likely to end up in destructive behavioral patterns. I'll tell you another one, and I'm like, even just thinking about this is like making me want to cry. I'm a woman, right? And so my first friend had an abortion when I was 14 years old. So I'm about to be 41. So from 14 to 41, let me do the math. 6 makes 20, then 21. So 27 years of friends having abortions. I live in Texas. Abortions are now illegal, but prior to that, over the past 27 years, multiple women in my life have had abortions, multiple. And one of them who had an abortion was at the time, my best friend. And I had gone shopping. I love to shop. I am a shopper. I'd gone shopping and I saw this cute top and I got one for myself and I was like, oh, she looks so good in this. So I got one for her too. So I had gone over to her house to tell her, and you know what? It's just now coming to me. The reason that I feel like I'm about to cry, which who knows? I may not, I don't know, but it was this month. Okay, I'm gonna cry. It's okay. It was this month. Oh. It was this month, almost 20 years ago. It was in 2008. It's 2025 now. So I went over with this shirt. I'm okay. I went over with a shirt, so excited to tell my friend, oh my gosh, I saw this top. And she said, I'm pregnant. And I knew it was scary because she was single and, and listen, in my 20s, girl, I lived some life, okay? I lived, honey. And, I lived, okay? So my friend was pregnant and didn't know who the father was, but had 3 educated guesses. So, and one of them was a professional athlete, one of them was like kind of regular, and one was like a bartender. So it's like, I don't know, you tell me, would you want to play Russian roulette on who's the baby daddy? So she had an abortion, and I begged her not to. She came from a family that loved her, would have been very supportive. There were a lot of people nearby. She would have had childcare. She had an older sister who was married and stayed home, could have helped. So like, it wasn't a situation where she would have struggled. Like, there was money, like she would have been fine. Anyway, but yeah, March 2008 is when she had the abortion. And so, anyway, but what happened next is she developed a drug habit, which she hadn't really had before. And it would always get bad around March. And, you know, this person, we're not friends anymore. We've gone our separate ways. We've just made lots of different choices since then. So we're not the same people. But a couple years later, she was saying something about feeling depressed. And I was like, listen, this happens every single March, you know, because you remember what happened a couple years ago in March. And it was like, oh, so yeah, the topic of abortion is one I could talk about all day long, because, you know, it's one that, you know, it's a choice that women make. But the thing is, like, you never forget, you know, you never forget about that child and how old they'd be and what they'd be like. You know, her child would be, you know, a junior in high school and thinking about college, and who knows, you know what. But anyway, the point is, there's no need for guilt. There's no need for shame. I'm saying this as someone who is not someone who's lived a perfect little life. I've made lots of choices that I've learned from, which is why I'm here now, able to have the conversations that I have. So anyway, so I promised part 2 of this video would be about how to shrink your appetite. Was not planning on crying, but like, whatever. Now you know what I look like when I cry. It's fine with me. So yeah, so dropping the spiritual weight will help you lose the physical weight. But, you know, we live in the natural realm as well. So here are some things that you can do to shrink your appetite. Number 1, there's 9 things. I'm going to go through them quickly because this video is already really long. Number 1, honey, you can drink more water. So a lot of times when you think that you're hungry, you're actually just thirsty. And if you are not familiar with distinguishing between hunger signals and thirst signals, you'll think they're the same. They're not the same. And so if you're not drinking at least a gallon of water a day and you think you have a big appetite, what I would tell you to do is start drinking a gallon of water a day. And you don't have to do this forever, but do it for a couple weeks. And the reason why is because I want you to get better at learning to distinguish between when you're thirsty and when you're hungry. And drinking a lot of water for a few weeks can help you realize, like, oh, like there's a slight difference in the sensation. And the thing is, like, when you eat, when you drink, it's all hand to mouth. And so sometimes that urge to just satisfy that hand to mouth pattern feels like a craving, but you're not hungry, you're just thirsty. So drink more water and see what happens to your appetite. There are so many different schools of thought and how much water you should or shouldn't be drinking, depending on whether you're listening to advice from like Western medicine or whether you're listening to advice from Ayurveda or traditional Chinese medicine. I am a fan of sticking to room temperature water and drinking enough fluid to just not feel thirsty. But if you are someone who identifies as being a person with a large appetite, drink more water, and start your meals with like 2 glasses of water. So again, different schools of thought. Some schools of thought say too much water before meals, it interferes with digestion, it dilutes the stomach acids, and I think there can be some truth to that. But this is just a short-term thing. I want you to get really good at distinguishing between hunger and thirst. So that's number 1. Number 2, protein. Especially if you're trying to lose weight or you identify as having a large appetite, getting on top of your protein. And if you are someone who's trying to cut calories, one thing you can do, which is what I do, I use pure amino, and it is pure amino acids. So you get the benefits of protein without the calories of protein. But if you don't care about calories, then either, using plant-based protein sources or animal protein sources, whatever you want. Just try to stick to lean sources, but protein helps you feel full. So eat more protein, drink more water. Number 3 is fiber. Fiber is great because it expands in your stomach. So if you are someone who doesn't like fruits or vegetables, a way to cheat is just to take fiber pills. And take a couple of them before meals, wait 20 or 30 minutes so that they can expand in your stomach. And that way you can eat less food and feel just as full. If you are overweight, there's a really good chance, assuming that you're healthy, you don't have a thyroid issue, you don't have hormonal issues that are contributing to your weight, there's a really good chance that you're just eating too much food. And the reason you're eating too much food is you don't understand portion sizes. And, you can be a good person and not understand portion sizes. So this isn't a value judgment. It's not about you not being smart. It's not about you being lazy. It's about you not understanding how much food you do or don't need to eat. In Ayurveda, it says that meals should be about the size of 2 fistfuls of food. So if that seems like a small amount of food to you, you probably don't understand portion sizes. And so what you can do in the meantime before you understand them is just create less free room in your stomach. Yes, you can have your stomach stapled, but a less expensive way to do that is just fill your stomach up with lots of fiber before you start eating. And you can either drink fiber, you can take fiber pills, or if you like fruits and vegetables, start your meals with leafy green sources of fiber. Number 4, healthy fats. So in the United States, there's a lot of focus on carbs, protein, fat, just pure macros. And the truth is that not all fats are created equal. Some fats are better for you, some fats are worse for you. Like I said earlier, it's about raising your vibration with your choices, not lowering it. So healthy fats help you feel full and also increase your energy levels, make your brain function better. So what are sources of healthy fats? Avocados are a great one. I like to have some early in the day. Nuts in small quantities are good. But also, animal protein, another source of healthy fat when it's lean, like salmon, for example, or, lean cuts of chicken or beef, all great sources of healthy fats. Olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, great. Number 5, so shrinking your appetite. 1 is drink more water, 2, protein, 3, fiber, 4, healthy fats, 5, which I've been saying throughout this video, eat for life. Eat things that make you feel more energized, which tend to be the healthy foods that are ideal for your body. And if you are like, oh my gosh, I want to take the thought out of it, then purchase a Viome microbiome testing kit. Links in my bio. And that will tell you exactly what you should or shouldn't be eating based on your specific gut microbiome. If you don't know what gut microbiome is, look it up. If you want me to make a video about it, comment below. But your gut microbiome is just kind of like your internal signature, and it determines how your body responds when certain things come in, certain things go out. So if you want to eat optimally for you, which will help with weight loss, will help with bloating, then get your gut microbiome tested and use your gut microbiome to determine what your specific diet should be like. Number 6, cut out processed food. And the reason is processed foods are designed to trigger your appetite. There's a book, it's called like either Fat, Sugar, Salt, Sugar, Fat, Salt, something like that. It's an old book, but it's about the chemical equations that are used to make food more addictive. The food manufacturers have determined kind of like a bliss formula, and it's if certain ratios of sugar and fat and salt are present in certain foods, you will eat more of them, which is why if you look at nutrition labels for things that have been around for decades, you'll realize that the ingredients in the cereals and the snacks from 10 years ago, even like Nabisco crackers, the ingredients now are different than they were 10, 20, 30 years ago. What is the change? There's either more sugar, more salt, or more fat. Why? Because it makes you eat more of it. If you think about it, processed foods, it's a business. And what is the business model? Getting you to eat more. Like that is how they increase their profitability, getting you to eat more. And so how do they get you to eat more? They alter the foods in ways that delay or shut down the signals that your brain sends you to tell you that you're full, okay? And your brain sends signals saying, okay, we're done eating. Generally speaking, there can be like a 20-minute delay between when you're actually full and when the brain sends the signals. But if you eat certain things, certain ratios, those signals can get basically it's like it turns down the volume on the signal, which is why it's so easy to eat like a whole sleeve of Oreos, but you can only eat so many grapes before you're like, I'm good, I'm all set. Try to binge on watermelon or peaches or strawberries. You can eat a lot of them, but it's not in the same way that you can eat a lot of cake or Oreos or something that's got that combination of fat, sugar, salt. So cut out processed foods if you are someone who struggles with appetite. Little caveat, for those of you who still feel like I want to live my life, if you're going to eat something with a lot of sugar, then just know that what sugar does, added sugars, is it increases your cravings for sugars for about 3 days. So if there's something that you really want to eat, look at it and ask yourself, do I want this badly enough to have to fight off sugar cravings for the next 3 days? If the answer is yes, go ahead and eat it, live your best life. But when you're done eating, quickly do something to get the taste of sugar out of your mouth. Either take a bite of something kind of salty, like a pickle, brush your teeth, just do something to get the sugary taste out of your mouth, because the more that lingers in your mouth, the more you're going to crave more and more and more of it. Next, supplements. Okay, so there's two types of supplements I want to focus on: supplements for fat loss and supplements for blood sugar control. So the supplements that I want you to look into for fat loss and appetite suppression are leptin, Garcinia cambrosia, and CLA. There's someone leaf blowing outside. Conjugated linoleic acid. Leptin, Garcinia cambrosia, CLA. And then supplements for blood sugar management. When your blood sugar is regulated, your appetite will be regulated. When your blood sugar is out of control, you're going to have crazy spikes and drops in your appetite and in your energy levels. So regulating your blood sugar, chromium picolinate, cinnamon, and Gymnema sylvestre. So look into those. I'm not going to tell you which ones to buy. It's so loud. I'm not going to tell you which ones to buy, but I will say just make sure that you were doing your research on the manufacturer. Make sure that you're picking supplements that don't have a ton of added fillers. Pick things that are bioavailable, ideally USP, which stands for US Pharmacopoeia certified, meaning it will actually dissolve inside your body. And then the final tip for shrinking your appetite is getting your daily dose. Sometimes when you are quote unquote hungry, what you're actually craving is emotional. And so getting your daily dose, it stands for dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. Those are the 4 neurotransmitters that help you feel naturally happy. And when you are naturally happy, you are less likely to feel the need to eat your feelings, okay? So dopamine, oxytocin, serotonin, and endorphins. And if you are totally unfamiliar with that, I actually have a video that's unlisted that I've linked in the description box below, and it will talk to you about getting your daily dose. And that video is actually day 3 from one of my programs called Decoded. Decoded is a 3-day break up with sugar program that will help you understand, we've talked about it a little bit in this video, but it will go even deeper into what you need to do if you're interested in breaking your toxic ties to sugar, which will help you lose weight fast. If you feel like you want to go more deep into the spirituality of weight loss and self-love and fat loss, and into all the things metaphysical and spiritual that impact your body, then I have a custom program called the Well Nourished Woman, and it is 6 sessions with me, as opposed, in addition to lessons, but it's customized to you, your story, your journey, and what you need to lose the weight based on your life experiences, your gut microbiome. And so if you want something highly customizable that's really like a self-love weight loss journey as opposed to losing weight out of self-hatred, then the Well Nourished Woman program is for you. I'll link that in the description box below as well. So I hope this video was helpful. I hope it shed some light on why you may be struggling to lose weight, what you can do to let go of those stubborn pounds. If you liked this video, please leave me a thumbs up. It really helps the channel grow. And if there's someone in your life who you love who is struggling with weight or shame or guilt or, you know, identity, send this video to them and just say whatever you have to say to make it seem inoffensive that you send a video about losing weight fast. You know, let them know that you love them and there's something in here that you think would help them. So that is all for now. I hope you have a fabulous day. I hope that the information in this video helps you do what you got to do to, you know, fall more in love with yourself and let go of the spiritual weight that is causing you to hold on to physical weight. So that's all for now. See you in the next one. Bye.